can record again. Okay, so we are here. We are both product managers. We're still waiting on our friend Krystal to join us, and we are studying for the Claude Partner Network as product managers,
We are studying for the Claude Certified Architect Foundations exam
to be more
as part,
precise.
yeah, as part of the Claude Partner Network.
Yes, absolutely. And um I mean, we're gonna talk about, but like as we've been talking about, the experience of getting through the modules is such a different beast when it comes to actually studying for the exam.
Yeah, and I think the only part why it is like that is that the modules that are given to us, they're just four modules, but the
Hmm.
actual exam is just 27% of that four module. It's more than that. So the four modules are around like Claude API, agent skills, Claude Code, um, and I'm losing out on the fourth module, but it
The
encompasses
MCP, I
what
think. No.
what did you say?
Is it the MCP? I don't remember.
Yes, the model, yeah, the model context protocol, and it only covers around 27 to 30% of the actual exam. So it's the actual exam is a lot more than that.
Is it
So
really? Okay.
yeah, the content is less than what the actual exam is all about.
What I've noticed with the exam, which is why, so what I've realized is the module like that we've been studying is very much, Claude, the tool, like the actual, um, yeah, like Claude as a tool itself and understanding how to operate in it, how to use it and all, and like understand the behind the scenes. But the exam is really almost imposing or assuming that you're a systems architect or you understand this sort of, you know, like how you would talk to your software engineers, and your software engineers would start saying like, well, if we use this AWS server, this bucket, that would save us like the thousands of tokens, and then instead, but if we use Vercel instead, because we're not using that, we don't need to hit that many servers anyway, then that means that, that type of conversation becomes they kind of assume that you know what that means. Or that's kind of the exams from what I thought.
I think yes, yeah, you're right. It's kind of more directed towards an engineering mindset, and
Hmm.
it's not like a I don't know, they don't have any other certification. They only have this one, and that's kind of more targeted towards engineers. Not so much for product managers. Maybe they might be upcoming with a new certification for product managers themselves, but as of yet, they have this, which is very technically verbose. Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. That's
Yeah.
what this conversation and that's what this accountability group is supposed to be about, is like for us, because it's not that we don't understand it and we don't need to really go through the in-depth details, and we can understand the in-depth details if we need to. It's just um and we also just want to understand the high level architecture behind it all. Like that's the way I was thinking about it or going through
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and I think the good part is that it's kind of teaching us all that and kind of like if we were to clear the certification or even go through the learning, apart from clearing it, I think we can kind of become like a standalone person who can build everything from scratch and build it in the most efficient way as an engineer would, or a good technical product manager would. So it's
Yeah,
kind of really, laying out the groundwork for us establishing ourselves as a fully certified technical product managers, which is really nice.
absolutely. I mean, I don't know if I'm sure you know this is I assume you're in San Francisco at the moment,
Yeah,
or
I'm in the Bay Area, yeah.
yeah, being in the Bay Area and everything, the whole keyword or vocabulary around that came up after product engineering, or what is it? Like that whole
No,
what is
actually,
it now?
it's called the forward deployed product manager.
A forward deployed product manager. For me, the ones I'm hearing right now is product engineering, or but basically essentially it's putting product and engineering all in one role together. And I
That's
think this is what that looks like. from my assumption, like from this Claude certificate, I thought this is what it would look like. But what do you guys think?
We see Krystal is back, but
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, Crystal.
Okay.
yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of like actually it's product design and engineering combined in one person itself. They don't have the design component yet, but yes, the product and engineering role are just, there are no lines in between right now. So just, yeah, it's great. It gives us great power as a product manager to be able to build, from scratch.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Crystal, we were just talking about like the certification, the gaps that we're learning, and the PM, and how we want to tackle this.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested. So did you guys come to any like insights or like conclusion over that?
That's what we're building right now.
Okay, okay, okay.
So
Sorry.
we are well, earlier we were talking about, so while I was studying, I was building, like even just the modules right now, right? Like when as a if a normal product manager who's not been technical, they come into the Claude, they go to the module, and the first introduction to agent skill immediately assumes that you understand that this is only Claude Code. It's not for co-work. You understand that skills.md is meant for you to create a file in your terminal, through your terminal, and add the directory and work with that. So that means that you understand you have to use some sort of like VS Code or cursor. So those are assumptions that people kind of just assume that you would know, but that's something
Yeah.
that you kind of learn as you go through
Yeah.
that module.
Okay. Oh yeah, I did not see that. And actually, do you know the difference between Claude Co-work and Claude Code, for example? I don't see the difference really. Well, it's just in what they do. No?
I can take a pass at it, but I'll
Go,
not.
go
I'm
for
not
it.
going
Go for
to.
it.
Yeah.
But I think Claude Co-work, what it does is that just by the name, I think it can access all your files on the computer, and then you can work.
Mhm.
You can have like a full-blown project. So Claude Co-work kind of is able to kind of work through your local files. Claude Code
Mhm.
also does that, but I think I have not used Claude Co-work in depth. So yeah, I'm not an expert in that, but yeah, I think it just uh, what should I say? It adds that extra capability on top, and plus, co-work can be used with your teams to kind of share files and
Mhm.
work together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That was interesting. In their video presentation, it looked really like appealing to me. How like you can work simultaneously on one project and have like your individual chat with them with Claude, and then you can also add to the project and create new files in the folders and all. But as a group, I thought
and,
that was pretty cool.
and it's strange. Three of them, they don't talk to each other actually. So
Yeah.
chat, co-work, and code, they don't talk to each other. And then there's Claude design. So
Yeah.
they don't really talk to each other. So if you have to make a skill.md, I think, Paul, on your point, we can make a skill.md for all three of them, but they don't talk to each other.
No, yeah. So you can, but you create a skills MD and co-work differently than you would in Claude Code. And what we're learning through the module is how you create it through Claude Code. I actually had to ask the difference between the three of them. It was in the module. But basically, like the easiest way to kind of go about it is that Claude Code is autonomous. You don't have to prompt anything. You kind of just set it up in order for it to kind of work by itself. Claude
Mhm.
Cowork, there is still some prompting. Yes, there's some scheduled, but it doesn't mean that you will have an autonomous agent. Like it means that, so I ask, for example, so is Claude Cowork the Anthropic's solution for or competition against OpenClaw, for example. And that's apparently not it. That would be Claude Code. Because you don't set up Claude Co-work this in a way that fully makes it autonomous. You can make it scheduled. You can still do some semi-autonomous things, but it's not fully. And that's what code is. And you also can't build an enterprise software from Claude Co-work versus you can through Claude Code. And chat's its own thing, you know. Chat doesn't even access your folder for the most
Oh,
part.
really?
Yeah, it doesn't. It
Mhm.
can't access your folder. It can't access
I-
um it can't do much.
But I don't understand why they don't make just one out of that one product, and why we have to have different interfaces. Did you hear that? Can you hear me?
We
Oh, no,
we
you
didn't
can. Yeah.
catch what you were asking.
Yeah. Sorry, I just don't understand why they didn't make one only tool and why we
One.
have, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry.
So
Too-
why are there three around now design, so four instead of just one?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure there's many reasons for it. I have a theory, but I don't know. Kirti, do you have a theory behind like
That's a good question. I didn't think about it in that detail, but I think code is more targeted towards people who want to kind of, really get to the nitty-gritties of coding, who want to be close to the code itself, and then, of course, create these autonomous agents as well. So code gives you more power. Chat won't be able to create that agent. So chat is for people who just want to ask a question, and it doesn't have to be a technical question. People asking any type of question from different fields. So chat is, how do you make the user interface so simple that people can ask all types of questions? So that chat is for that. But then code is for people who really want to get to closer to the code itself. And actually, code is also for product managers because then they can code without coding. So it just makes a lot of our lives very easy. So that is how I understand it. But yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, I mean, how I understand is very similar to you. Chat is like very much how you would use ChatGPT or Gemini. You ask a question, it researches for you, and it tells you things. Co-work is a little bit deeper because you're allowed to, for example, set up a project. So if, for example, I'm a small business, right? Like a small business and I have multiple clients and I want each project to be dedicated to each client. So it can analyze the documents it has. It knows that it has boundaries within those folders. It has a memory, so it remembers certain certain it remembers things about that client. It can, for example, connect to calendar. It can connect to I think it can connect to my Gmail and it connect to all of these things so that it kind of can consolidate certain information. But for the most part, it's still, as I mentioned, semi-autonomous. I mean, I don't think you need to be that technical, but I guess compared to a normal person who's never been technical, I think that, we can't really compare ourselves to that. And then code, like Claude Code, is really what developers are using to create the feature, even from themselves. So like I use cursor for this, but you can technically use code. So one thing, for example, that I remember doing was um we're all product managers, but at the end of the day, we need to ship a feature and we need to like understand product ownership. And as much as Scrum is a very, very useful tool, and we love our engineers, but engineers can overestimate or underestimate certain tickets, and they don't have the resources to take time. Claude Code, you can kind of set up Claude Code in a way where it can integrate with Linear. It can integrate or your Jira or whatever. It can look at the ticket and the scope of the ticket that's involved in it. it can look at the repository as long as you. So one of the things that was actually in Intro to Agent Skill was to put on those guardrails to make sure that it doesn't like rip, like like go crazy on things and rewrite the actual repository. Um, and go through all the code that's in that repository so that it can tell you, you know what, the ticket that was estimated as 2, that's actually a 12, or like that's actually an 8. The one that you think there's gonna be a day, nah, you're behind now. Um, saying that, I remember telling that to I had a workshop and I was telling that to people and they were just like, well, then you don't have the trust with your developers. You don't have this. You don't not trusting them. I was just like, it's not meant for for it to be like that's a different conversation. But I guess like what I'm trying to say is that that's the three, and Claude Code is also just what API is. Like I use Claude Code for through Cursor, for example, if I want to build um like as small as a website or as big as a dashboard, or I mean even an MVP enterprise product, because that's kind of what they use are. Um yeah, that's my take from it. But I don't know. Um
I think that's correct. And I think the agent skills actually tells us like how can you evaluate a product that you've built from an engineering as well as a product standpoint. Like how can you evaluate? Because it takes a lot of resource and effort to hire a QA or even have a QA on the team. So if you kind of, put it in a skills.md, like it can run every time. And then you can evaluate your product against those set benchmarks. So I think it's also kind of doing our job for QAing much better for product as well as for engineering QA as well. I think that's very interesting. And that you can't do with chat, of course. So yeah. So,
yeah, we're learning so
uh,
much.
okay. I actually, I was wondering that for us to kind of go through every module and kind of even discuss about it, maybe we can start with agent skills as the first one, or we can do it scenario by scenario, maybe. So maybe we can start with one scenario and then another scenario. What do you all think? Because the actual exam is based on those scenarios and the percentage based on what's shared.
So that's actually a great question. And so from my perspective, like the gaps from the module is really interesting because like we were talking about this, like what those modules give us our understanding of the tool itself, but it doesn't give us the high level. And the exam really, really challenges us because it assumes that we're system architects, that they assume that we understand some software engineering skills. And in some ways I want to do that. But at the same time, I feel like we should. You know what's funny? It's like I think we should do the module, but I feel like it really helps us to do these scenarios and really like challenge us because that's at the end of the day, that's we want to pass this exam. But I think we should get some guests, we should get like some software engineering guests for some people. What do you guys think?
To we
Like
can, but
no, no,
yeah.
not immediately, but like we will go through these exams, but there might be some questions that we're just like, I really can't understand this. And sure, we can ask Claude, but maybe there's someone who can come in and like teach us certain things, that patterns that we keep getting wrong or something, or there's a like things that we might not understand.
I think
So
that's a great idea. I think that's a great
Yeah,
idea.
I think it's necessary actually. For me, I don't know.
I mean,
But
same for
yeah.
me. I'm sure we all know engineers in our lives who are more than willing to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think it's interesting for them too, it allows them to have an overview of like Claude and all. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think that we should go through the actual study guide, or do we want to use Rich's study guide? I think I just want exam questions and answers.
I think if the end goal is the same, we can use either or, but Rich Guide is really good. I mean, we can kind of use that as a benchmark and maybe create our own questions because I think we can do a lot of prompting with Claude and say that, give me more trick questions. We can also do that.
But what is
What
the difference between study guide and the skill jar? I'm not sure to understand. Isn't study guide like because Richard was really like emphasizing on, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry,
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
Sorry.
It was emphasizing on getting the introduction to agent skills certificate, and then the introduction to model context protocol certificate, and then the call and action and the API ones. And so this
Mhm.
is different from the study guide, if I understand.
So
Or
what Rich is saying is that as part of what should I say, like to be eligible to take the exam for Claude Certified Architect, these
yeah,
four modules are good, but the thing is that the actual exam is more than that. So
yeah,
these maybe cover around 30% of the actual exam. So
okay,
if that's the case, then Rich created that study guide, which has all those scenarios, which covers more content than just those four courses about MCP, Claude Code, API, and agent
yeah.
skills.
Okay, cool. And so did Claude also give material for that to study for the yeah, okay.
We have
I'll share my screen with you all. Like
Okay.
hopefully,
Thank you.
wait, I want to make
I'm
sure.
like so confused. There's so many different
Do you,
layers and motions
do you
that
see
yeah.
my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Claude's official study guide or certificate for the exam guide. So it gives us all the kind of like this introduction as to what the content's going to be, some applications, like what it's supposed to talk about. Now, it gives us these types of, and basically they're telling us there's going to score us in these types of domains, and they give us these scenarios. Which, to be perfectly honest with you, I know Rich gave us a pretty good he answered the difference between domain scenarios and domains versus scenarios, but right now I don't remember. So I know Kirti, if you know, let us know, please. But I kind of forgotten like the difference between like exam scenarios and domain, for example. And but basically what it does is that it also tests us. Uh where is it? The principles giving, so it kind of tests us for certain, um, like grep for content searching, glob for pattern matching. These things were not in that module. The word glob, the word path pattern matching. That's what I meant by it kind of assumes that we have some systems architecture knowledge at this point and this type in this specific way. And so Rich's study guide is really extracting this and providing a PM friendly term as to what these all mean. I'm just trying, I thought that there we go. This is what I'm saying. And they gave us a sample question. And that's kind of what I want us to kind of eventually, or maybe go through as soon as possible, is like these questions, assuming that we all finish the modules and everything. And I know I should be speaking for myself. I've only done one right now. So, but yeah,
No,
Krystal,
no, I like that we think in terms of group. That's good.
yeah.
But so okay, and so when is our test? Do you know by any chance?
I don't think they've been scheduled for a test. They've just submitted our names, but I think hopefully we should be ready by July 1st. I think around July is the time when we should be able to give the exam, which is 15 days from now.
Yeah.
Um, and on to your question, Paula, about domain and scenarios. Domain are just kind of like the domains, the major domains on which we will be testing. Scenarios are kind of like they'll be giving these scenarios, and scenario is a combination of domain. So scenario is kind of like, a superset of some of these domains. So,
Mm.
like customer support can be more than one domain, and so as the other ones. And for every scenario, there will be some questions that they'll be asking us about.
Right. Okay, okay.
So
Just
that's
letting
the
you guys know, we have 10 minutes left, but it's okay. I think we're getting somewhere. Um but for this one specific one, I think the next thing is so that's really good. So I think we want to really tackle maybe like a domain per meeting that we have per study meeting that we have or like a scenario. Um and kind of tackle what these things really mean. So, for example, production data shows 12% of cases get customer like question one, what is this actually asking for? What does this mean? Like we want to really dive into these types of things and what does like where does in the Claude module does it refer to or like what does it relate to? Is it intro to agent skills or is it the MCP? Or like we want to like I guess like from my perspective, so I really want to understand like the tool and like we kind of understand parts of it, but I truly want to understand all of it. And for us to be ready for that exam. Saying that we also there's also lots of like GitHub, there's tons of these types of people who put it more questions. I think some people have already done the exam and they might
yes.
have added some more questions. So I think this is also one of the things we wanna we wanna talk about or we can kind of use as resources.
Do you
Um,
think that like a publicly available repo?
Yeah,
Repo?
yeah, yeah, this is publicly available. I wanted to find yeah, this is publicly available. It's if you put it online, this is the big one. Um, 12 tr training program. So yeah, 6 weekly schedule, like for example, read exam, stop reason. Like this is a great way to also structure. Like why are we structuring it ourselves when someone has structured it for us?
Right.
And but this assumes that we have done all the modules, I think, is the big one. Which I know some of you guys, so I need to get get but like key anti-patterns. Like what does that mean? And parsing that I understand parsing natural language, like all these things, but we wanna really understand these things. And
Yeah.
I think we want to kind of see how we so for example, I guess each week we should kind of like go through this and then at the end of the week review wrong and like practice test one, for example. I guess there's a practice test in one of these. And then we can kind of talk about a practice test and how we dealt with it. Like each, so we can meet up every week and see how it goes. And that's what I meant. Like eventually we probably want an engineer here and just like
Yeah.
chat about it.
I I like that idea, but the only thing is that if we were to do like one of these every week, then we want it's gonna take us like 7 weeks to complete that. So maybe we
Yeah.
probably would want to do like more of these every week.
Yeah.
More of these every day, hopefully.
Every day, yeah, 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 yeah. Like more than one session every week. That would
Okay,
be
So
like 2, 3?
maybe two. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit kind of like swamped this month, but
Yeah.
be good. Two should be good.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, so there's 5 minutes left. Just letting you guys know.
Okay, Paula, do you mind sending me the link to this? And then the other, like you had a long Anthropic document. Yeah, the
Oh, this one here.
yeah, or
Yeah.
sending us and yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it to everybody. And of course, and so this is, so yeah, this is Rich's thing. This is Anthropic's official. I have my own like PM learning that I put, and that's how I've been learning the modules as well. But I think that's a bit too much. I'm just gonna give you like the main ones.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so these are, you know, we gotta learn the foundations. We have to
Yeah.
understand some of these things. And I think like um and for our engineer, I'm sure we have engineers in our lives. We probably should like just talk to them
If
like here and there and before we talk we take these as well.
And
if
I
you
think
want, I can potentially try to see if one of my contacts will be. happy to come on the call and then answer some questions. I don't know. Would that
Eventually,
help?
I think
Yeah.
eventually. I think we need to figure out what we need to ask them first.
Yeah, of course. It makes sense.
And I think even better is to have an engineer who is in the process or who has actually taken these exams already.
Yeah. Yeah, that
That
would be
would be better.
perfect
I
actually.
know someone.
If you know someone, that'll be great because the thing is that it's not like these are like some of these are newer terms. It's just teaching about Claude Code. So I
Yeah.
think better to have somebody who is very hands-on with Claude Code.
Yeah.
Hmm.
How much time do we have? Oh, 4 minutes. I can see
Four
at the clock.
minutes, 4 minutes. But yeah. But okay, so what are our action plans, I think, for the next time we want to meet?
I think let's review if we have to go by this foundation, we can go by the week one agenda and maybe like try to kind of complete some of this. Yeah.
Like read exam guide domains 1 to 5. So that means this is the exam guides and we read the domains 1 to 5. Is that what he means? Like these domains, like
Domains
all
are
of
like
these.
chapters.
Domain one,
Yeah, these are
domain, yeah.
chapters, basically.
Yeah, basically like chapters. Understand the 6 scenarios. So basically, day one is understand this whole guide.
Okay.
The second one is understanding stop like loop cycle. What does this actually mean? And I think this is, I mean, I think this is where it gets fun for everyone.
Yeah. What
I don't
makes
know.
you
I
think
think it
that?
gets fun.
Well,
I feel like I don't know, I've talked to many engineers that I just don't know the names, but I'm sure that we can at least understand it. And for the engineers listening to this, whoever listening to this, it'd be hilarious, but I think it'd be great. Um, and I think yeah, we have to understand loop cycle, minimal agentic loop, agents SDK. What does this mean? Like control flow, anti-patterns. Like I think what we want to do is kind of just familiarize ourselves with all
yeah.
these things and
Okay.
then maybe give note, like take note, like
Hmm.
we just discuss what we've learned.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
For
And
for when?
what? Sorry,
Hmm?
go ahead.
When do
When?
you want to touch base? Yeah.
When do you guys want to touch base?
I was thinking like I don't why is this so dense? It's on 7 weeks and we have 2 weeks.
No, this is just 1 week. And
Yeah,
then
but
there's
this
like,
whole program is for 7 weeks total.
it's
We're
12 weeks, 3 months.
12.
okay.
Oh
Why
my God.
is
Yeah.
this
I'm not in
so
a
dense?
rush
And
to
that's
take the exam, to be perfectly
Me
fair,
too.
but if you guys are, then we have to like go for fast.
we were thinking about taking the exam when, by any chance? Do you have like a
Uh, I have not set a date, but I'm thinking like if it's not that tough to get through all the material again, then by mid-July, but it depends.
like
I would
beginning
Um,
of
go
July?
end July,
End
first
of
of
July?
August for me. End of
Okay.
July for me. At the latest, at the earliest
At the earliest,
for
okay.
me, for me.
And
But
what about you, Kirti? Oh my God, it's less than
at the
9 days.
earliest, mid-July. I don't think I
mid-July for
can
Yeah,
finish
okay,
it
let's
July
try to
1st.
do mid-July.
mm-hmm.
Because after
Um,
August, I feel like if it's middle of August, it's like stretching, and then we have to remember everything for like a longer period.
okay, less than a minute, guys. Okay. We
Yeah,
wanna
well,
chat on Monday, you said?
yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Monday. Cool.
Um, okay, so there's that. I will try to remember to have everyone on the thing. And we have Read AI, so we have notes as well as to what we
Cool.
talked about. So there's another one, another guideline if people want that. If we're
Yeah.
actually like, and then of course we can post this recording as like the three PMs learning the Claude Partner Network. Okay. So let's do this and yeah. Okay, I'll see you guys on Monday. What
Yeah,
is
that's exciting.